Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to Growing Through It, a podcast dedicated to bringing you clarity so that you can harness your curiosity and be the creator of your life. Hosted by me, Shanae Rowe. Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you for joining me for another episode. I'm very grateful, as you all know. But yeah, this is episode 18. Welcome. It's about solo travel and what solo travel without an objective can reveal to us about ourselves. And when I was drafting this episode, I sort of felt a little bit out of my depth because I personally feel like I haven't done that much traveling. Like, I've never been overseas. I've only traveled up and down the east coast of Australia in my van. So, when I was drafting this, I thought to myself, I don't really know if I'm the right person to be talking to about this or giving advice about, because I've never been overseas. I don't know a heck of a lot about travel. But then I was like, you know what? I actually have some really interesting, I think they're interesting perspectives, and I learned a lot while traveling in my van. And I feel like, they need to be shared, and somebody out there is going to find some sort of benefit to what I have to say. So yeah, this episode is just going to be about traveling specifically without an end goal or a plan in mind. Yeah, so let's dive on in. First up, I think the reason that I learnt so much while traveling, or one of the reasons, was because I actually took off in my van and I had not a single plan figured out. I did not have an itinerary. I didn't have an end date or an end goal or anything in mind when I was like, hey, I want to go travel around Australia in a van, right? All that I had figured out was that I was going to be living in this van. That was going to be my home, and I was just going to go around and explore. And I think that mindset is really different and allows you to unpack a lot of different things and understand different things in a different way than if you were to travel with a set plan. If you were to go overseas and travel for a designated amount of time from a set period of dates, you'd be home by a set time, you'd know where you're going home, that sort of thing. I think having no plan teaches you so many different things than traveling with a goal, with an objective, with, a budget and and sort of an idea of what you hope to achieve. And yeah, if you don't know much about my travels, I've spoken about different things throughout a lot of the different episodes, but yeah, I bought a van spontaneously and I was like, cool, I'm going to go traveling in this van and hopefully I will learn something. It was pretty vague. The only sort of thing that I knew was that I wasn't coming home to my hometown. I was going out and I was traveling and I was not returning to my parents' house. Yeah, that was the only thing. And so, yeah, that was my intention. So I want to talk about intention because for everyone, it's going to be different. Every single person hopes to achieve something entirely different out of solo traveling, traveling by yourself or even traveling with people. If you're traveling with a group of people, each of you individually are not going to have the same hopes and dreams and desires that you're aiming to sort of feel and accomplish from the exact same traveling experience, right? So everyone is so different. But I think it is important to go into travel with an intention, and that can be whatever the fuck you want. It can be super vague, it can be super specific. You can have an itinerary planned out. You can just want to go because you want to have fun and you want to bond with your friends. You can have the intention of going and meeting new people and, learning about culture, learning about food and religion and all of these things. Go into it with an intention, and your intention can be literally to have no idea what the fuck you're doing, right? But I think it's really important to have a purpose behind our choices, not just about travel, but anything and everything, right? Because when we feel like there is a purpose, there's a reason behind our choices and our behaviors and everything we do, then we're acting, as I always say, in alignment with what we want and who we want to be. And so it's important to approach situations knowing what we deserve and what we are worthy of, and we can go into it like that when we have an intention about what we do, when we have a purpose behind our travel, when we have an intention, right? Your intention can be like what you want to achieve, or it can be what you don't want to achieve. It can go either way. You can go into travel and be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just heading to Europe and I hope that my things don't get stolen. I'm just there to have a good time. Don't really know what I'm doing. I just don't want anything bad to happen to me. That's an intention. That is a purpose. That is you like putting that energy out there to be like, I am attracting whatever, but specifically this is not what I want, right? And it can be the other way. You can be like, I am attracting whatever, but specifically these things, please, thank you. It's we get to experience things fuller and more purposefully and more aligned when we have that intention, when we have that purpose. So that's sort of how intention and what we want and that alignment relates to travel. It's about having an objective, having an end goal, but not really having one. I think we can learn a lot about ourselves when we open up that space to not have any plans when we travel or when we explore. Which then got me thinking, like, why do we want to travel and explore? Why do humans have that like hunger? And I guess maybe not everyone does, but the majority of us want to go traveling, especially us young kids. We want to go explore. But yeah, it comes back to like humans being like these beings that crave learning and understanding, and we enjoy a challenge because we know good things come out of a challenge, right? When we're out of our depths and we don't really feel like we know how to swim in this particular environment, like that's when we learn the most. That's when we are forced to find solutions to our problems and change our perspective and grow. And also we want to travel because we want to meet new people. We want to expand our perspectives. We want to extend our knowledge, where we crave learning and we crave being better and knowing better and meeting people that challenge us. I think that's like an innate human desire. So yeah, like I guess I encourage you guys, if you are wanting to travel, think about your intention, think about what you want, what your objective is. Superficial or meaningful, just set an intention, think of something that you hope to achieve, and, be confident in that choice, because as long as that decision feels right for you and feels okay for you, then everything's going to be fine. But yeah, moving on from that, like having your intention as vague or as specific as you want, I think that traveling when you have a very vague objective, I think just traveling, just existing, it's all about letting go of expectations, right? When you don't have like specific, end dates, a itinerary, specific things that you want to get done, when you just have no idea and no plan of what you're doing, then your mind creates so many different scenarios of things that could possibly happen. When you don't have anything sort of to look forward to or grab onto, or something that's coming up in the future, like somewhere to explore or someone to meet or something, then the possibilities of what's going to happen in that time frame is quite literally endless. You've got no idea of what is going to happen, and so your brain is coming up with, oh, maybe this will happen, or maybe I'll go here, or maybe I'll meet this person, or I wonder what's going to happen. And not having a plan opens up the possibility of a million plans unfolding all at once. And I think what that teaches us is that we need to let go of expectations, right? In order to continue flowing and continue moving with our lives and with ourselves, we need to let go. We need to let go of how we expect things to be, how we hope that something is going to turn out. Because believe me, like when you have all of these possibilities running rampant in your head, for me, like it was, oh my God, do I go to the date tree? Or do I go inland a little bit? Or do I spend my time at the beach? Do I get a job here? Like so many things were going on. And there were so many little stories unfolding in my mind that weren't even my reality yet. And I think that is what causes or can cause like a lot of our suffering, because we have this expectation of how we want things to go. And a lot of the time, almost all of the time, a life doesn't unfold like that, right? And if we attach ourselves onto those hopes, how we thought our life was going to look, it's really hard to be present in the moment and to actually accept where we are. So what I found while traveling was that as humans, we really have this tendency to hold on and to play make-believe in our minds, which takes us out of the moment, right? And it also makes us ungrateful. Maybe not ungrateful, but it doesn't make us present with the moment when it's happening, with big things that are going on. And I feel like the more that we let go of those expectations of our little painted scenarios in our minds, the more we can just like relish in the moment and appreciate where we are and what we've got, and just like truly soak up the goodness of the moment and the goodness of who we are and just what we're doing. And I honestly think like the whole concept of letting go is a lifelong journey, and it's something that everyone of every age talks about, this need to let go, to not attach, to not hold on to things. And I found that I was able to understand that so profoundly because I had been traveling with not an idea in sight, which meant I had every idea under the sun. It's kind of the paradox of it, of traveling without a plan, without an end goal. It's sort of, the world was my oyster, but holy fuck, the world is my oyster. There are so many things that I could be doing. So yeah, and I think by understanding that, I was able to learn a lot about myself, which, I wish for everyone, like learn about who you are, take the time to create and to enjoy and to let go, and don't latch onto things, So yeah, I think the more that we tap into the power that letting go holds, the more we're able to tap into ourselves and to discover sort of what we like and what we're interested in and what fascinates us and things like that. I feel like it comes back to the act of letting go of everything, of expectations of who we are, of what we want, of our physical and materialistic world, right? Because the constant like death of hope allows us to sort of spend time with ourselves, mourn our beliefs that we had, scenarios that we developed, really like get upset about something not turning out the way that we'd imagined, and then asking ourselves why we're upset about it. It's a really good way to get to know ourselves and really uncover who we are and what we value the most, because when things don't work out the way that we want them to, we have to ask ourselves why we're getting upset about it. What emotion is coming up specifically about the grief of this little scenario and situation not going as I had planned. Why am I upset? What is the driving belief or value behind me getting upset about an expectation? And I think the more we ask ourselves those questions, the more we can unpack what makes us us, whether that is learnt or whether that is us at our core, because there are sort of those two aspects of us, which is, who we are based on environment and family and learnt behavior, and who we are based off of like literally the divine cosmic universe, if you will, just the things that make us feel alive because it fills our soul. And I really think that we're able to uncover the difference between those two through lived experience, and especially through lived experience when the experience isn't what we'd planned and it isn't what we'd hoped, and we had no idea of the unfolding of things because we had expected it to go one way and really had gone another way, which turned out to be better anyways. But yeah, we learn the difference between who we were taught to be and who we are on like a soul spiritual level by unpacking our sadness and grief and misery over an expectation, right? When we can learn to let go of that expectation. And yeah, I honestly think that having a travel plan with no plans and the intention is to have no intention, it allows us to get bored in nature, right? You all know, and I speak about all the time, how healing nature is, and I think the more that we're out in the world, in our natural environment, and the more that we're paying attention to the little synchronicities and the beauty of, trees and the sky, and just paying attention to those things allows us to drop into ourselves and slow down enough to make space for an observation of how we feel, right? When we don't have plans, when we're traveling, we're literally out soaking up our physical environment, where we're paying attention to what is right in front of us because it is so beautiful and intriguing and new to us, that it creates a space within ourselves, sort of like meditation, where we're just able to observe what is going on within us. It's like we've opened up the internal world to make space for our thoughts in the moment. And I honestly think like traveling allows you to make that space on such a fundamental level, in such a large amount, because when you don't have somewhere to be, right, you're not at work, you're not doing the chores at home, that's in the real world. And then think about it in travel. If you don't even have anything planned for the day, you have nothing specifically that you want to do, look to nature and it is around you, and you're able to sort of drop into the depths of yourself and know yourself and find ways to entertain yourself while you're outside. Get comfortable existing in the literal natural world in front of other people where no one owns any space. You don't have a home to return to or retreat to, right? It's getting comfortable, like existing with everyone else. And it helps you learn the importance of taking up space and owning your role in the world by being outside and being bored in nature and, having no plans, right? Wake up and go for a hike or go for a walk or just sit under a tree. Like, create an environment where you're able to get bored in nature and watch how it sort of transforms your mind a little bit. Because I think paying attention to nature allows us to pay attention to ourselves, and really that observation is the biggest step to getting to know yourself, right? Which is how you're able to learn what you want and what you don't want, and learn what sort of life is going to make you happy and fulfilled. And like I was saying at the start, like obviously what you discover while traveling is personal and it's individual to you. Like if you have a different intention about traveling to someone else, then of course what you're going to learn about yourself is going to be different to them, right? But I truly think that, in order to let our travels reveal things to ourselves, and I I could say teach, but I feel like there's a bit of a contrast. It's not, solo traveling without an objective isn't so much teaching us about ourselves, but it's revealing us to ourselves. It's revealing things that are already the truth back to us. In the concept of traveling and exploring, sort of, we're coming back to ourselves and we're understanding things that inspire us, right? And so, like, if our travel was to teach us, it would cause us to learn something or understand something through experience, whereas I think revealing is making known to us. It's unveiling something that's sort of already there, it's already there within the depths of ourselves. It's not being taught. We're not, learning it. It's sort of being imparted on us. It's sort of wisdom coming through, being imparted back to us, back to what we already knew to be true but sort of forgot along the way. But yeah, like, what you learn is so specific to you, what your fears are, what your desires are, what you want to gain from relationships and friendships with people. It can be about your limitations, the way you hold yourself back. Solo travel with no plans, it really shows you that you get in your own way. And then it's sort of, through the experiences you have, you learn what specifically stops you from getting in your own way. It's like the big epiphany of, holy shit, I am the one stopping myself from achieving all these things I want. Why is that? And you sort of learn that as you go. And you sort of learn that as you experience more and more things and meet more and more people. But yeah, I think that travel is about, learning these things about ourselves and then making decisions from what we discover from those observations, and then, making decisions based on where we're at psychologically. Like, hands down, I would not be here with this podcast speaking to all of you guys if it wasn't for solo travel without an end goal. Like, I would not have realized that I wanted this without literally having no plans. And I think what really pushed me the most to create this and to discover my desires so deeply was because of that intention that I'd set at the start of not going home, back to my hometown. Because it got to a stage in my travels where I was just like exhausted. I had no idea what I was doing anymore. And I wanted to set myself up somewhere, have like a homey sort of vibe. And I wanted to write and I wanted to create a podcast, but I had no idea how to do it. I just had ideas, no idea how to turn them into material things, right? And if I had not set that intention at the start, I would 100% have gone home and probably been miserable, right? Because going back home, it wasn't going to be a beneficial decision for me, right? And I knew that when I left, which is why I set it as my intention. But yeah, having that goal of, all right, this is really hard. The easy thing is to go home, is to go back to like Geelong or Nil or something like that. That's the easy thing. And that's sort of kind of what I want to do because I don't know what to do. But because I had that intention of, no, you're not doing that, I was able to actually like get down into the nitty gritty of like what is stopping me from, what is going on inside myself? What do I actually want? Why do I feel like I can't get it or I can't have it? And yeah, in doing so, I was able to discover like, hey, this is what I want. This podcast is what I want. Or settling down in somewhere that's, sunny and nice weather is what I want. I was able to learn that through having very minimal intentions, or like kind of like inverted, I don't know, intentions that weren't super like rigid, I guess. So obviously like, yeah, I'm super grateful for that and having like the opportunity to just get to know myself by getting bored and having no idea what I was doing. And it can be really spontaneous, and other people, people in your life might not understand or think it's irresponsible or think that, being erratic and not having a plan like that is kind of a silly move. But I think that it shows us so much about ourselves, and it reveals to us what in the flippity flop we even want from our life, what is going to make us fulfilled, what is going to bring us a sense of purpose. And any sort of travel I think will get you there. But I think, and again, don't take this too seriously, because I haven't even been like international crazy traveling yet, but I do think that traveling really spontaneously without any bloody idea does, it pushes you so far out of yourself that you're able to see so much about yourself in all aspects and do with that information as you please. But yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. I hope that it's found the person that it's intended to find, and maybe give you guys a little bit of inspiration to go travel somewhere random and have no idea what you're doing, because it's cool, and I hope you think it's cool too. But yeah, thanks for listening. As always, I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you so much. Of course, let me know what you thought of this episode. But yeah, that's all from me for now. The world is waiting for you, so get on out there and enjoy your big, beautiful life. Bye!